St Johnstone's objective is clear: promotion above all else. They've been impressive this season, but not invulnerable. As ever, the championship is a tough nut to crack. Perennial promotion hopefuls Partick Thistle are right behind the Saints, breathing down their necks. A win tonight would see the Glasgow side hit top spot and heap the pressure right onto the league favourites. We're live from McDermott Park as St Johnstone host Partick Thistle under the Friday night lights. Good evening and welcome. It is Championship box office on the BBC tonight. The top two going head-to-head in a major bout at McDermott Park this evening. It could be utterly defining for this season. I'm joined by punditry heavy hitter Michael Stewart this evening. Michael, how much are you looking forward to this?
Very much so, now that I'm nice and warm, Jonathan. I'm looking forward to the game very much so. It's obviously it's a big one. Two top teams. Partick Thistle, I'm sure will have it in their mind, the fact that this fixture, the first game of the season, they came on the end of a real drubbing, and they've got the opportunity to try and reverse that, and in the process go on top of the table. So it's a real big fixture for both these sides here.
It was quite incredible that St Johnstone trounced Partick Thistle so in such a big way at the start of the season, 5-1 right here. Partick Thistle, huge credit, been so dogged in their pursuit. Which side has the edge for you this evening?
That's a good question, Jonathan. I mean, I think there's very little to choose between the two. And credit to Partick Thistle, I think you just said it there. They've been very dogged in their pursuit of St Johnstone. It seemed early on as if the Saints were going to run away with it. But, you know, credit to Partick Thistle because they've really started to just, you know, drag St Johnstone back into a battle here. Not much between them. Obviously, it's opportunities we've just spoken about here for Partick Thistle. Win the game, go top of the table. I think it's very difficult to call who's got the edge in this. It felt like a tornado was blowing in last weekend at Gayfield. Not for us. We were nice and sheltered, Jonathan, weren't we?
I know, it just ruined the entire game apart from that, but we quite enjoyed it, yes. Yeah. Tonight, wet, blustery. How much of a factor will these conditions be, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt, like, you know, the weather last week, it played a big part in the game. You know, wind is the worst. Here tonight, it is very blustery. It is going to play its part. The park itself is not in the best condition, makes it a little bit more difficult for these two top sides that want to play football. It does make it that little bit more difficult, and it feels like it may well be a real battle and a war of attrition here tonight, really.
It does have a feel-good factor for us. I feel like the last time we were here in this championship season, it was probably the best match we've seen this season. Dunfermline, the visitors that day, and there does seem to be a bit of a feel-good factor with the St Johnstone fans right now. There'll be fans in each of these four stands.
Yep.
Something that we didn't see a lot of, frankly, when they were in the Premiership.
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke about it a lot that night when Dunfermline were here as visitors, how the atmosphere was fantastic, a real feel-good factor. And I don't think there's any question that there's definitely been a bit of a renaissance for the club coming down to the championship, being top of the table, playing really good football under Simo Valakari, and hopefully, if St Johnstone do find their way back into the top flight, then they can maintain the level of support here and also the style of football under the manager that they've implemented.
For now, St Johnstone are top of the table. They really do lead the way in terms of stats. They've won the most matches. They've scored the most goals. They've conceded the least amount of goals as well. And they've lost the fewest amount of games. They've got a really strong squad, Michael, overall. And, of course, they've been adding to it as well just in the last 24 hours in the form of Josh Fowler from Queen's Park. 19 goals in 25 appearances for the Glasgow side. And they've been struggling this season. He starts on the bench this evening. How big a signing could that be, do you think?
Well, it could be huge, of course. I mean, goals are such a vital part. It's what football's all about. And he's had a blistering first half of the campaign at Queen's Park. He's earned his move here to St Johnstone. And, you know, St Johnstone are obviously a very attacking side. They've got a lot of goals in the team as well. And if Josh Fowler is going to add to that, then you would think it's going to potentially propel them to the title.
Yeah, he scored in his farewell match for Queen's Park against Wraith Rovers on Tuesday night in the Challenge Cup as well.
The bad news for St Johnstone is last weekend's result. It was, in fact, their first home defeat of the season. And it came against Dunfermline Athletic, who are fast improving all the time. Bit of a goalkeeping error here, Michael Stewart, and Robbie Fraser seizing his opportunity.
What a cracking finish. I mean, you've got to say that is outstanding. As much as, you know, it's a goalkeeping error to begin with, there's still a lot to do there for Robbie Fraser, and he finishes it with aplomb. And, you know, touching on Dunfermline, it really does feel like they're just coming to the boil at the right time for Neil Lennon and his men. For St Johnstone, they've not got a tougher task than obviously coming up against Partick Thistle to try to change the tune, because, you know, this is a big challenge. They'll be mindful as well. I spoke about at the beginning that they put over a brilliant performance and result against Partick Thistle in the first game, and they've got to go and do it again, and they've got to try to obviously put to bed the disappointment of the result last week against Dunfermline as well.
Partick Thistle here hoping that they can completely reverse what happened the last time they visited McDermott Park. As we've been discussing, that was a 5-1 defeat. And Michael, to what extent do you feel Partick Thistle are overperforming this season? I'm not sure many people expected them to be in this position come January.
Possibly, but I mean, I think because of obviously the upheaval with regards to, you know, the situation where Mark Wilson, Brian Graham didn't know, you know, definitively what was going to happen, and then Mark Wilson's coming. I think he's done a fantastic job. He really has. He's put together a really strong squad. But in terms of, you know, surprised with where they are, they're probably ahead slightly, but they're a team that are always challenging at the top end of the championship. Now, if Mark Wilson is able to get his hands on the trophy, you've got to say he's right up there for a Manager of the Year award nomination. He's done a really, really good job, but there's still a long way to go in this championship.
Mark Wilson certainly has worked wonders this season. Last weekend it was another win for the Glasgow Jags as they took on Scott Brown's Ayr United, and it would be an impressive victory in the end. Logan Chalmers, he would open the scoring for Partick Thistle in this match at Firhill, and he'd have a big say in this game as well. He's been a big player for them. He starts this evening, interestingly, on the bench. The second goal for Partick Thistle would come from Alex Samuel, the former Ross County player. Thistle 2-0 in front. Logan Chalmers would have a penalty saved, but they would earn the 3 points, despite the fact that Ayr United would get a consolation goal through Curtis Main. 2-1 the score for Partick Thistle, and well, clearly that gives them confidence coming here this evening, Michael. And in terms of the championship table, this is what it all means. Partick Thistle with a victory this evening, they can go top by a single solitary point, but it would mean so much. If that was to happen, of course, well, St Johnstone, regardless of what happens, do have a game in hand. As we've been discussing, the last time Partick Thistle were here, they were thrashed, but they got the revenge in November with a 2-1 victory against St Johnstone. And it was a memorable day for the Maryhill faithful as Dan O'Reilly put the Jags 1-0 in front. And it would get even better for the Glasgow side. Tony Watt finding the back of the net to make it 2-0. Always difficult to keep St Johnstone down, especially with players like Josh McPake in the team. He's been such a star performer, and he would get on the score sheet here as it finished 2-1. Let's hear from the managers tonight. Simo Valakari and Mark Wilson have both been chatting to our match commentator this evening, Thomas Duncan.
Can I ask about the pitch? Obviously the game was called off on Tuesday. I know the type of football you want to play, the ball on the deck. How does that affect things, perhaps?
Yeah, we wanted to play on Tuesday, but it was impossible. It was impossible. It was there. But we are in Scotland, we are in January, we know it can be like this. Will it affect us? Maybe, but then at the same time we need to find the ways to play our football in these conditions as well, and maybe adapt a couple of things. So this why football is so beautiful. There is so many things you cannot control, and one thing is weather. We cannot control the field, so we need to adapt and still, as I said it, find a way to win.
You obviously added Josh Fowler from Queen's Park, one of the top scorers in the league outside of St Johnstone. Tell us what he'll bring in, whether he can play a part tonight or not.
Yeah, very happy. Yeah, he's involved. He's involved, and very happy to have him. Very happy to have him in here. And of course, he has already proved he can score goals. He can score goals, and he will score goals for us as well. So happy to have him.
Obviously, a massive incentive. You can go top of the table and dislodge St Johnstone for the first time this season. Has that been spoken about this week?
Well, just about the magnitude of the game, and I don't think I need to speak about it. I think the players already understand that, and things went our way last week. We had a really good performance and result, match with St Johnstone being beaten here, so it sets up nicely for the neutral and everybody watching back home TV. But I mean, it won't settle anything. It's a massive game because it's the two teams that have been most consistent throughout the year, going head to head with only a couple of points between them. And look, I'm looking forward to it. Our players are looking forward to it. I'm sure our St Johnstone are the exact same. And it's important that we kind of right some of the wrongs that we've had on the road in previous couple of months. We started pretty strongly on the road this season, and we've just fell below those standards. Really strong at home, but we need to start picking up more points away from home, and hopefully it starts tonight.
Are you expecting a strong reaction from St Johnstone, given they were beaten here last week at home for the first time?
I think you'd like to think so. I mean, they've been pretty strong here all season. Of course, they've had a couple of defeats, so of course that's got to give confidence to ourselves that it can be done. But of course, they'll be looking for a reaction. They're the team that's consistent, top of the league, score plenty of goals, and of course it'll be a tough night for us.
Thanks, Mark. Good luck.
Thank you.
The atmosphere is building brilliantly here at McDermott Park. Despite the blustery conditions, the fans are absolutely loving it. A real sense of anticipation here this evening in Perth for what is a huge match. It could be a defining moment in this championship season, and it is certainly whetting the appetite as we raise the curtain on this SPFL weekend. Michael Stewart, let's talk about the managers. What is it about Simo Valakari that impresses you when you hear him speak?
Just an extremely enthusiastic character. I think you can get that sense from just listening to him. You can see he's an effervescent guy, clearly quite an excitable character, and I think that plays out in the team as well. And just listening to Mark Wilson, I think he makes a very important point, the fact that their away form, they're mid-table in away form. No better game though to try and rectify it. And I keep going on about this, but psychologically, if they're able to come here and pick up 3 points, when you compare and contrast to what happened in the first game of the season, if they're to get 3 points, rectify that sort of mid-table with away form, and then to go top of the table as well, it's a real marker, even though there's still a long way to go. So it's a really, really intriguing tie here between the two top teams in the table.
It does feel like it's got a bit of a cup tie atmosphere about it, and of course this is just one match. There's a lot of football still left to be played, but you do feel like a real marker can be set down this evening. Michael, what sort of match are you anticipating? Will it be a free-flowing affair, a bruising affair? The pitch is obviously not in the best conditions. It was waterlogged on Tuesday night, and of course the match had to be postponed in the Challenge Cup. Yeah,
I mean, in terms of free-flowing, I'd like to hope so, but I'm not expecting it due to the conditions. But we're two teams that want to play football. It'll be a bit of a battle between these two, and it'll be intriguing to see who wants it the most.
I think whatever happens, we are going to enjoy it this evening on BBC Scotland. It's all about to get started. Let me hand you to our commentary team this evening of James McFadden and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good evening, everyone. It is the biggest game of the championship season so far, as the league's two best teams fight for supremacy. At some points, it's looked as though St Johnstone were poised to canter to the title, but Partick Thistle have made sure the next few months will be as fascinating as ever in this division. A win tonight for Thistle will see Saints usurp to the summit for the first time this season.
Saints with the upper hand in the game against Thistle at McDermott Park on the first game of this season, but Thistle did have their revenge, and St Johnstone looking to respond to their first
defeat here at McDermott Park in the league last week. Simo Valakari makes just one change. Liam Smith drops to the bench and Adam Forrester moves to right back, with Morgan Boyd shifting out one and Bozo Mikulic coming in. Josh Fowler can add to his 19 goals in all competitions with a debut appearance from the bench. Well, interestingly, top scorer Logan Chalmers is on the bench tonight for Partick Thistle as Robbie Crawford adds some steel to the middle of the pitch. Mark Wilson sticks with a back three formation that yielded a win over Ayr last week. Jamie Gullen, top with his teammate Rhys McAleer in terms of assists in the championship this season. Got the 8 goals in the league as well, pivotal in the final thirds for Saints. Will he play a big part tonight? And Tony Watt, who has experience of getting out this division with Dundee United 2 seasons ago, of course. 5 in total for him in the championship. And his link play always pivotal. And Sean Murdoch, the former player, taking charge of the teams tonight. He had to step in recently in a Premiership game for John Beaton, who was injured at half-time as Celtic beat Falkirk in Championship action this evening. So the top 2 go head-to-heads in the Championship. The third of 4 meetings this season. It's 1 win apiece so far. Who will get the upper hand tonight? And it's St Johnstone who get the foot on the ball early on, and it is going to be difficult, James McFadden, I guess, for the teams to get to grips with the surface, which looks challenging.
Yeah, but they'll just have to deal with it. I think that, you know, it's going to be a challenge, but it's a challenge for both sides. And we know it's 2 teams that like to play football as well, so that is the challenge. But I think you're right, it's whoever gets the grips it better. You would expect it to be St Johnstone, given it's their home form, home pitch, and Partick Thistle struggle away from home, but this is a huge game.
And Jason Holt just overstretching there, getting an early challenge in on Crawford, who is the addition to the Thistle ranks tonight. Simo Valakari wrapped up against the elements. It's played forwards for Aguiman to chase. The January signing on loan from Falkirk closes down the goalkeeper Clark, who takes no chances. Boys. Stanton helps it on. Hooked away by Crawford, but St Johnstone will come again. Josh McPake, such a threat for them, the league's top scorer. Bolt gives it to Boys. Gullen tries to pick the pass for Stanton, and made the run beyond. Ambitious stuff from Saints, just overhit.
Yeah, it is, but it's a great run from Stanton, and it's the right idea from Gullen, just overhit. But, you know, those runs will continue, and you expect that Gullen will be able to pick that pass. You can see the intent.
Thistle going direct in the flick on, and then it comes off Samuel here, and it drops for the Thistle striker, and he gets the shot away, and he rifles it into the side netting. And the home fans were nervous for a moment there as that went towards the target, but just the wrong side of the post.
Well, that's how you deal with the surface. You go long. Tony Watt does really well. Slightly fortunate for Samuel, and then this little bounce or lack of here probably helped with the surface. Just sits nice for him to hit first time. Trying to get that back across, sure and goal, but doesn't catch it quite the way we'd like.
He scored last week against Ayr, Alex Samuel. That's loose from Gullen. Played forward into Tony Watt. This is where he comes alive, holding off the defenders, and gives it to Smith. Forrester heads half away, playing in his more natural position of right back tonight. Adam Forrester. Tries to test the St Johnstone backline again. Aguiman playing as the central striker for St Johnstone tonight. Holt wins the header. And that's neat play from St Johnstone, which opens it up for Forrester, slides it forward, but Hageman was unable to get there. The rain has been pretty relentless all afternoon and into the evening in Perth, and obviously the game on Tuesday was cancelled due to a waterlogged pitch against Ayr United. As Boyds carries forward, and he's gotten a long way and he gets the strike away, but sails harmlessly off target.
Yeah, you can't blame him. I mean, the space opens up for him. Boyds as he's driving, but you can just see the difficulty the players are having with the pitch. It's just bobbling, it's never rolling.
Yeah, just kind of gets right underneath it. Morgan Boyes shifted out to left back, playing left centre back most of the season. That's wayward, and Hageman goes hunting for it. And then Holt intercepts. Pressure on Macbeth here, but he's done well. McAleer gets in, and in the sliding challenge is from Stanway.
Yeah, that won't be the last slide we see tonight.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of slide marks in the turf come full time. Boys looking for a bit of movement. Won by Smith. Returns from St Mirren, and now a chance to break here for Thistle. Crawford has the run beyond from Smith. He's picked out Samuel, who's totally free in the middle. Tony Watt picks up the scraps onto the right foot. It's Watt beaten away by Stewart. Danger not gone, and St Johnstone eventually scramble it away.
A big chance for Thistle to take the lead. Great break down the right hand side.
It's played down the line. Samuel was also free right in the middle of the box there, just crying to be picked out.
Yeah, just as it developed, I'm looking to see if he's going to make a move, but Diabate just goes towards the ball, leaves Samuel all alone. Crawford trying to pick him out, just overhits the cross.
That's good feet. And the challenge comes in, away by Boyes. Samuel turns. Oh, and a miss control there from McPherson, just took his eye off it.
Yeah, I mean, you asked about the pitch, and you can see the players are struggling even just to keep their footing. And this is the opportunity. You see Diabate, he's drawn towards Smith, leaving Samuel all alone. Tony Watt picking it up, cuts inside, it's comfortable for Stewart. But it's a good break from Thistle. Just that pass from Robbie Crawford.
That was a late challenge from Boyes, and the referee is going to have a word with him. Sean Murdoch.
There's going to be some late challenges because the way the ball's running, the footing, as I said, from the players. But I mean, yeah, I was trying to let him off there, but
just one of those. Got his timing all wrong. It's probably sensible refereeing though from Sean Murdoch, just not get the yellow cards out too early. Bit of sympathy for the players. Free kick comes in from Reading, and it's swerved all over the place and then goes out on the far side. Partick Thistle with two very good early chances, asking the question of St Johnstone.
yeah, they've certainly started positively. Thistle, you know, Matt Wilson before the game speaking about wanting his team to do better away from home. Certainly getting a decent start. Doesn't mean that they've cracked it, but that would have been the demand. Get an early start, don't, you know, let St Johnstone get control of the game. And they've certainly done that.
Yeah, the 5th best away record in the championship, just the 13 points from the 33 available, but they have the best home records, not lost up Firhill all season, which is why they're up challenging St Johnstone, and Mikulic under pressure, and Diabate calmly done on the centre back, and now he's got the play in front of him. Forrester has made the run. St Johnstone coming forward. McAleer, he can hit them, decides to pull it to the edge, and Gullen, and now McPake, and he almost got caught in two minds about what he was going to do there.
Yeah, you're spot on, Thomas. I think that as that's developing, he's thinking if he can get it set, he can maybe get his shot away. He thinks about it, goes for that little fake, bounces off his foot and out. But good play, Diabate stepping into the game.
Gullen picks up. It's pinched off Stanton by Smith. On the pitch, as we've mentioned, two pretty evenly matched sides. That middle of the park's going to be huge tonight. Who can win the battle in there? Probably why Logan Chalmers is sat on the bench at the moment, unless he's got a knock we're unaware of. Here is McPherson up to the edge of the box, shot across, Stanway blocked. Thistle continue to look a threat almost every time they come forward. Break on now for St Johnstone as Gullen goes down, looks at the referee, and he's not going to get the free kick he was after.
Yeah, I think he just overruns it as he steps inside Gullen. But you're speaking about Chalmers, and obviously they're playing the back three with the wing backs. Maybe, you know, as the game develops, he might look at changing the shape, bringing on Fitzpatrick and Chalmers. But then you look at the pitch, and I know St Johnstone are setting up the wingers. It doesn't look ideal for the wide men.
No, here is McPake. He's been the best one in the league this season. It's a good ball, pulled back. Jason Holt gets it onto the right foot, and it's a brilliant block. Superb defending in there by O'Reilly, and corner to St Johnstone.
It's outstanding play from St Johnstone. Switch of play out to McPake, and he's so good in 1v1 situations. He loves coming in his right foot. He can go down the left. He picks a pass. I think Holt's desperate to go and step on and hit that first time. But we're speaking about the pitch. It just continues to run away from him, and it's a good block in the end.
For St Johnstone corner, and it comes. Outswinger, Nikolic is there. McAleer gets it at his feet, runs awkwardly, still in, stands it up, just over it, and the strike from Gullen is skewed wide. Worth an attempt, certainly with his form as well this season, but it was a difficult one to take.
Yeah, well, he hits it down into the ground. It's good running from McAleer, and even getting into this position. Okay, overhits it, but he knows the bodies are in there. Gullen, he is capable, but just doesn't catch it the way he would like there.
Simo Valakari signed a new deal this month to 2029, looking to rebuild St Johnstone into a Premiership club as they give the ball away here, and Tony Watt plays it forward but can't find his partner.
It's the right pass, and you were speaking about the midfield, and you're quite right to speak about it, but you look at the conditions, and it might be a night where it's who capitalises on the mistakes, because, you know, struggling to deal with it, you know, the surface in terms of passing. I think Samuel has to hold his position there and allow that to come into his feet. He goes to make a run beyond.
Here's McPake. Well recovered from McAleer. Boys looking for McPake. St Johnstone, such a threat in wide areas. You know, massive strength of theirs all season as Stanton flicks it on, booted away by Ashcroft. Tony Watt just lurking, his presence even just causing a bit of panic in the St Johnstone defence, and they concede the throw in.
I mean, it's a night for Watt and Samuel to go and really put St Johnstone under pressure, chase it down, force mistakes, and cause problems, and that's what they've done so far.
Yeah, both of them had an early sight of goal. Gullen away. Hagiman not really got into the game so far. Comes towards him, but Thistle deal with it. Tony Watt. Stanway. Macbeth clips one. Oh, and Diabate tangling with Samuel there, and a free kick has been given in the other direction. Goes the way of St Johnstone.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely initiates the contact, Samuel, but that's what you expect from the striker. Yeah, he's got that horribly wrong. For me, the referee, should be a foul for Partick Thistle, if anything.
Yeah, Diabate puts his hands up on the jersey first. His boys gives it to Holt. St Johnstone talk about the potential to be leapt above in the table, but they could go 5 points clear with a win tonight, with a game in hand at that point, which would be important at this stage of the season. McPake unhappy with that call.
Yeah, well, he's going to press McPherson as he passes this up the line. It's good pressure, goes to put the block in. Soft.
Clark goes long. Diabate's header. Smith. Macbeth. Raking pass. Sits up nicely for Thistle. Opportunity here. Reading sends it in. Overhit. Boys helps it up to McPake. He does well to win the free kick.
It's another decent opportunity for Thistle. Stanway chasing that lost cause. It's a good switch of play, but spoke about putting defenders under pressure, not giving up. He does brilliantly to keep it alive, and Reading really needs to do better from the position he's in.
Decision goes Gullen's way. St Johnstone with their first defeat in 6 league games. Last time out against Dunfermline, their last defeat before that was the one at Firhill back in November against Thistle. As in most games this season, though, they've created plenty of chances. Dunfermline had a number as well, and we saw the goal from Robbie Fraser, which was a brilliant finish. But I feel like St Johnstone are a side that they always give themselves a chance in games because they create a lot.
Yeah, they do. It's the way they play. And also, you look at the goal they conceded, they will play out, they will take risks, they try and draw in that press, try and get McPake on the ball high and wide, try and get chances, which they do.
McPake has a go on the outside, forced to turn back. Boys drops it in, and it falls now for Akiman. Didn't fall nicely for him. Forrester, he'll accept the corner. Shakes his head, but got something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult for the players on the surface, but they're doing well, I have to say. It's not going to be tidy at times, but I think that especially with your shots, get it low, get it on target.
Jamie Gullen will have another goal from that far side. Outswinger to the near post. Diabate challenged, drops, and it's only half cleared, and then Smith makes sure. Holt to McPake, and good defending from Tony Watt, knocking back the pitch. St Johnstone just building a bit of pressure here. Thistle have had the better opportunity so far. Gullen from the other sides. makes the X-Men signal. And it comes. Again, it's dealt with, and handball is given, I think.
Big fan of the X-Men, are you?
I don't know, just... I was back in the day, probably not now. I'm assuming the X means something. Diabate just with it hand right above his head there, off balance.
He might be a big X-Men fan, you never know. Not as big as you are, but...
Just geeing himself up to take the corner. And Samuel surges forward, but it's swallowed up by Stewart. Partick Thistle consistently asking the question though. Boys looks up. Hackeyman runs the channel, headed by McPherson. Peak has kept that in. Diabate. It's Forrester. Plays it up to Gullen, flick on, comes to nothing. Mike Peak liked the idea as he peeled out to the near side.
Yeah, and look, St Johnstone have had plenty of plaudits for how they play, but they can always almost go direct as well. Especially when Thistle have that press on.
Beth apologises, completely miscued that one. The referee pulls that one back. St Johnstone desperate to bounce straight back to the top flight. First time of asking. Always easier said than done. And they, especially after the first 10 games or so, looked like they were going to be far too good for most of the division, but it hasn't proven to be the case, especially for Partick Thistle. Have lasted the course this far and show no signs of slowing down as McAleer collects. Forrester the run and plays it into the box, and it's Gullen, low strike, blocked, and Boys is penalised for that one. A bit of concern over O'Reilly as he gets hauled to his feet, but Gullen looking to get the shot away as quick as he can.
Yeah, I mean, he catches it well, Gullen. You can only assume the referee... I didn't see a foul there.
Played forwards. Nikolic. First quarter gone and nothing to choose between the top two sides in the championship this season. Thistle with two good opportunities. Mark Wilson will be pretty pleased with how his side have looked going forwards. Not giving up a clear chance yet either at the other end. Reading's throw. Overcooked, and no one had made the run either, so goes behind as the rain still teems down at McDermott Park.
It's definitely an outlet for Thistle. You look at Samuel and Watt through the middle, they're going to go up against the two centre-backs, and Ben Stanway then is the one that could go beyond. He makes a run there, it's just overhit, but it's definitely an option for Thistle.
Boyce to Holt, taken off his toes, cleared by Boys at Aguiman. One promotion from this division, of course, with Falkirk last season. Well won back, McPake. Boys into Aguiman. Has time to get the shot away, and he got a lot behind that. Too close to the goalkeeper, though.
Yeah, he did. It's good play again. Looks like the cross is coming in. A reverse square pass from Boys. And Aguiman does well to get it at his feet. It's comfortable for the goalie, straight at him.
Yeah, played 25 times for Falkirk this season. What a season they're having. Found himself down the pecking order. Stanway taking a bit of a sore one as well for Thistle.
Yeah, he's taking it in the follow through from Aguiman's shot.
And Mark Wilson saying this week Ben Stanway determined to see out the season with Thistle. He's out of contract in the summer, been linked with some top flight clubs, having an excellent season. 7 goals, 5 in the league. Mark Wilson saying he had a conversation with him and he wants to help the team that's brought him to this point in his career successfully, try and get themselves into the top flight.
Yeah, if he moves on, it's absolutely no problem. Ben Stanway's got an excellent attitude through the academy here at Thistle. He will give everything to get Partick Thistle back into the Premiership.
The appetizer, of course, as ever, to a busy weekend of Scottish football action, which starts with Off the Ball tomorrow on Sports Sounds. Kicks off at 12 on BBC Radio Scotland, and highlights of all the top flight action 10:25, BBC One, Scotland, Sportscene on iPlayer as well, of course. And you'll get the extended interview with Lewis Ferguson on his life out in Italy and his World Cup hopes as well, as Johnstone come forward. Definitely worth a watch as Gullen gets the shot away, but the deflection took all the sting out of it. Clark smothers it comfortably.
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult for him to get his shot away there, but before it comes to him, he's got one thing in his mind. He's got McPake outside him, but he wants to get the shot away.
Tony Watt waits for support, lunges it to Smith, and he's taking a sore one, McPherson, and Thistle will accept the corner given they didn't get the free kick. Another set piece opportunity. Tony Watt is rather bemused at the call.
Yeah, I think that the referee allows play on there, and it's a good one as well, because Thistle then get into a good position just in the corner of the box there to put a dangerous ball in, and they get the corner anyway, so I think that was a good advantage with the referee if that's what he played.
Reading to take right into the 6-yard box on top of Stewart, who put a glove up, might have got a skiff onto it, but wasn't convincing. Recycled by Thistle, and that's overhit and behind.
It wasn't convincing, but it was vital, because O'Reilly's coming in at the back post, and a little touch is just enough to take it off the head of O'Reilly. I mean, it still comes off him, but if he doesn't get the touch, then it's a good chance for Thistle. Great delivery.
Fascinating contest, with both teams having little mini spells in the game. No breakthrough though. As Holt turns, finds Gullen, just pops up everywhere. Holtz. Tony Watt late on McAleer. It's perhaps taken out some of his earlier frustration.
Yeah, absolutely no doubt. Tony Watt still aggrieved that he never got the free kick. Just leaving one on. Reece McAleer.
McAleer briefly forgot where the ball was. Didn't see Tony Watt coming either.
No, but the ref did.
Yeah. McAleer again in the thick of the action. Thistle throw. Both sides been fairly busy in the January window. Josh Fowler we talked about. A coup for St Johnstone. Mark Wilson admitted that Thistle also inquired about him. I'm sure a few clubs did, but St Johnstone were the highest bidders. As Sean Murdoch, the referee, blows a whistle and produces the first yellow card of the game for Mikulic.
Yeah, he gets himself in an awful position, Mikulic. Samuel just uses his strength, rolls him. And it's the right decision. He goes and tries to win it. No need to pull him down, he had cover. Diabate was behind him.
Yeah, only his second appearance of the season. Been working his way back from a long-term injury. Perhaps showing a bit of rust there. As Reading, it's a poor one after his good corner moments ago. Thistle don't make the most of that at all. Flicked down. It's kept in here and cut back, and it's missed. It was a half chance for Thistle. Tony Watt battling away with Aguiman, and he gets to his feet and he's done really well. Again, a blue shirt gets in the way though. Again, it comes back, pinballing about, and it drops to the edge of the area. Crawford with a shot, now McPherson, dangerous. Samuel bustling away, chance again, and turned behind. Mikulic and St Johnstone keep it in. I'm not sure it was necessarily to their benefit there as eventually get the goal kick, but Mikulic in the thick of the action.
Well, hopefully that's the scrappy period over, because that was messy. You know, Samuel takes a really good first touch, misses the ball, and then Crawford putting that across goal, and it was messy. But look, that's sometimes where you get your opportunities. If you're positive and you're brave and you're aggressive, sometimes the ball falls to you. Certainly a better situation for the attackers than it is for the defenders.
Absolutely. As St Johnstone go up the other end, Stanton have made the run. Aguiman hits the sodden turf. Diabate, poor touch. And now it's played into the path of Tony Watt. He looks around. The cavalry's coming now, and Tony Watt goes beyond, or tried to go beyond Mikulic. Pulled it back to the edge of the area. Crawford, and then Smith. Good block. It's all working it nicely though. Cross comes in from deep. Holds up well, and now McPake. It's not running true on the surface for the St Johnstone winger, but still he manages to beat two players and win the free kick. And now there's going to be another yellow card, I think, for Luke Macbeth.
I mean, it's not the ideal pitch to be dribbling on, but that's outstanding from Josh McPake. When he picks it up, Crawford's getting back at him, just spots him. There you go, gets his body across, little chop. Macbeth sticking the leg out, leaving the leg dangling. And that is, you look at McPake and you look at his goals and his assists and the numbers that he brings to the game, but when you play in the wide areas, it's driving your team up the pitch, it's getting free kicks, it's taking the sting out of the game at times, giving your backline a rest, which he's certainly done there.
Gives McAleer the chance to send in the free kick. Floats it towards the back post, and there's the touch that takes a bind for the corner. No shout, clearly. As Reading got the touch.
Yeah, and he can't take the chance. The way that ball is floated in, he doesn't know what's behind him, and as you say, if he doesn't get the shout, you have to try and get something on it.
The St Johnstone fans over on that far side enjoying themselves Tremendous support up from Thistle as well behind that goal. Friday night, pouring rain, January, massive game though, and Gullen has curled that out the pitch and back in. Wasteful. It's not quite our both last week, James, but
no, I mean, you look at the conditions there, and the wind was terrible for the players to deal with. Full credit to them. But this is a poor pitch. You know, the pitch is in really poor condition. Credit, you know, to the ground staff for making sure, you know, they get the game on. You know, we've been called off earlier on in the week, but it's not ideal for the players to play on. And credit to them. They're trying, you know, they are still trying to do the right things, get the ball down and play, but it is proving difficult for them. But I'd much rather play in a bad pitch than in that wind from last week.
yeah.
And this is like a bowling green compared to Fir Park when I was coming through at Motherwell.
Yeah, one of the best pitches around these days.
Yeah.
Free kick goes St Johnstone's way. Forrester taking a sore one.
Yeah, Fir Park's got more grass and I've got less hair.
Yeah. Holtz into Gullen, opens it up, sends it across. Forrester curls in a dangerous ball, and it had to be dealt with. It was nervous times. The Thistle backline there.
Yeah, good play again. Left to right, dangerous cross into the box. Forrester. Josh McPake comes from that area, tries to make the run across. I can't get there. It's good defending. It's good defending.
Gullen again. Try and keep this one in the pitch. In swinger, and it's away by McPherson. Back out to Gullen. And McAleer lines it up. And again, really forceful strike. And that was a smart save from Clark.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's just not taking any chances. It's straight at him. He catches it really well. Here's McAleer. Lovely first time pass back into him from Gullen. Puts it up. He's just not taking any chances there. There's Clark.
Not easy conditions for the goalkeepers either. As Gullen leaves this one.
Still think that all goalies should be able to catch them if they're straight at them, though.
Yeah, fair point. Stanton kind of claps that one, but it's still somehow effective. McAleer slips and gets a foot on it, but the referee has already blown the whistle. It's her head knock. McPherson taking a blow to the head, so the referee obliged to stop play.
I just have to say it is really wet as well, so I can understand why Josh Clark's not opting to catch it. But again, it's when the ball's in, it's not the best, but they keep it alive. And you know, Thistle fans aren't happy because they were on the attack, but if there's a player down with a head knock, then he has to be seen to.
Samuel. Cleared by Boys. Thistle beaten 5-1 here, as we mentioned, on the opening day of the season. Last win in Perth was 2018, end of January. the top flight. Stephen Lawless, Connor Salmon and Ryan Edwards with the goals in a 3-1 win. Liam Craig scored a penalty. It's consolation for Saints. Stephen Lawless, who is in the squad and looks like he's leaving Firhill after a lengthy stint and a great servant to the Jags over the years. Aguiman chops inside, and McPake is there to pick up. Gets the cross in, it's a really good one. Flicked away. Stanton still going, blocked, and no, it's unable to be kept in the end as he tried to just force it back.
Yeah, I mean, McPake puts a lovely ball in, begging to be attacked. Forrester just getting in there just too late. And I think this comes back off Stanton. No, he doesn't at all, he misses the ball. No wonder they're laughing in the Thistle end there. He's got a smile himself, I think he knows.
Yeah, he'll have a laugh about it. Sam Stanton, he's a player will be desperate for promotion as well. St Johnstone missed out in the playoffs 5 times as Samuel has flagged offside. Finally balanced game this. I feel like it's going to be a moment of magic or a mistake potentially in these conditions. Unlocks the door. Cullen's won another corner for St Johnstone. They've had plenty of them. Diabate and another man up from the back, trying to make life difficult for Josh Clark and the rest of the Thistle back line. Sean Murdoch gives the lecture out. An appeasing hand on the back from Diabate. Now Gullen allowed to get on with it. Right on top of the goalkeeper, good defending. Oh, and McAlear's had it taken off him by Tony Watt. And Tony Watt is one-on-one at the moment with Holt. And he goes inside. And Holt loses his footing. Still Tony Watt squares it across. And Thistle up the scoring. Lightning quick break. And Tony Watt gets the plaudits because he created it, won the ball, run the length of the pitch more or less, and lays it on a plate. And Mark Wilson, well, he'll be happy inside because Thistle strike first blood.
That's absolutely tremendous from Tony Watt, driving from his own box, getting 1v1 with Holt. It's just outside his own box, but it's the anticipation, the driving forward. I actually thought when he drags it here onto his left foot that he'd let Holt off the hook, but he just couldn't get back to him. And then here, temptation to go for goal himself, unselfish, plays it on the plate for Smith, and it's a nice tidy finish. But it's all about Tony Watt, anticipating, stepping out, winning the ball, driving forward, and then the composure to find his teammate. Outstanding, Tony Watt.
Well, fair play to Oisin Smith because he did really well to get himself up there in the position to finish. Mobbed by his teammates. That man Tony Watt with a big moment in the championship title race. Thistle have fashioned the better opportunities in this game. And the league leaders under duress at McDermott Park once more. Be a test of character now for St Johnstone. Gullen, McPake sends it in low to the near post. St Johnstone do keep forcing Partick Thistle to make these clearances and win in the corners.
Yeah, that's a great little shift from McPake onto the right foot, flashes it low. Stanton, times he's run really well, it's well defended again, and that's what Thistle have done this first half. Any ball that's come into the box, they've managed to defend it, get a clearance. Okay, they've had to face a few corners, but they look dangerous on the counter as well.
Gullen hangs it in there. Stanton had a lash at it, cleared by O'Reilly. Jason Holt thought initially he'd managed to hold up Tony Watt, and then he just fell on a sticky surface. Boys, another low ball flashed in, which has to be dealt with.
Same with Alicari, will be hoping that they can take advantage of these corners. They haven't been able to do so yet.
And they've worked a short one. McPake, there's a little go. Officials happy that was still in. Partick Thistle have only lost once in the league all season, and they've scored first, and it was on the opening day against St Johnstone when they went 1-0 up and lost 5-1. But I'll be confident, because the first goal is often absolutely critical in this division.
Yeah,
many teams lose.
Yeah, and they go up in the first half in that game, but by half time they're 3-1 down. So if they can get in at 1-0, then Matt Wilson will be absolutely delighted with the way his players have performed. Nullified St Johnstone to a point. Not really, get too many efforts directly on goal, and they've managed to catch them on the break, and they've looked dangerous themselves.
Boys thumped away. This will be the last act of the first half, which, as it stands, is Partick Thistle's half. Big roar from the Thistle fans. Job half done. Oisin Smith with a tap in just 3 minutes before the break, but the work was done by Tony Watt. He pinched it and ran the length to tee him up. Saints have had some shots from distance from Holt, Aguiman, McAleer as well, but nothing too clear cut. And Oisin Smith's goal is the difference in this tussle at the top of the championship. Half-time at McDermott Park. It is St Johnstone 0, Partick Thistle 1.
Well, it is the goal that makes all the difference at half-time. It is Partick Thistle who have the lead, courtesy of that glory run from Tony Watt. And fantastic finish from Oisin Smith in the end. Michael Stewart has just crept behind me, Michael. Nice of you to join us.
No problem, Jonathan.
It is wet and windy here at McDermott Park. What an end to that first half. As it stands, Michael, Partick Thistle are top of the table.
Yeah, I mean, quite the first half. It was real intense stuff. Obviously, we're asking in terms of what sort of game we're going to be expecting, and I think it's been a pretty good game, to be perfectly honest, considering the conditions that both sides are facing here tonight. They've both tried to play football, and I think Partick Thistle probably just edge it. They've looked the most dangerous. Especially, when you see that front line, I think on a number of occasions it's looked like they've been threatening, capable of getting something. And obviously at the end, just before half-time there, it was a great drive and run from Tony Watt, setting up Oisin Smith.
It has been a similar amount of shots from both sides, but St Johnstone actually edging it in terms of possession. But I know what you mean, Michael. It does feel like, especially in that early flurry from Partick Thistle, they really set a tone in this game. We see some of the chances here that they created early doors, and they looked a real threat.
Yeah, they did. I mean, talking about trying to play football, but obviously that occasion, Luke Macbeth just smashing up the park. But you can understand that, especially early on in the game, it's not a bad tactic just to don't take any chances, try and get territory, Alex Samuel there with a pretty good shot. I think there was maybe a few of the Partick Thistle fans had thought perhaps it sneaked in.
Yeah.
But yeah, early on they were really aggressive. That was a big chance. You felt like there was a big hole in the centre of defence that they could have exploited. They didn't, but they still kept things in the danger zone. You know, the in and around the edge of the box, testing the goalkeeper, and you know, there's no doubt that as the half wore on, St Johnstone were getting a control of the ball. They were playing, you know, quite well as well. But I don't ever felt like, and I know what you're talking about in terms of the stats there, but I didn't ever feel like they were genuinely threatening the goal. It's yeah, as I said there just before, I think over the piece, Partick Thistle probably deserve just to shade it.
I did wonder after that early Partick Thistle flurry whether they would go on to rue those sort of missed opportunities. And St Johnstone obviously would come more into this, Michael, and create a number of opportunities themselves, as you would expect from a side with so much quality in it.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, they're a side that have got a lot of quality. McPake setting up into the middle of the park. I just wondered whether Jason Holt could have hit that first time. I'm looking back at the replay there. Yeah, I don't see why he doesn't strike that first time. You know, and watching it live, I thought perhaps with the surface, maybe he wasn't too sure and it was bobbling. But you see the replay there, it was pretty well set to have that first strike. The goalkeeper, sorry, the defence getting in the way, making good blocks. This one, the goalkeeper just in a good position. He's right behind it. He's able to get two strong hands on it and not fumble. But it's been an entertaining first half, considering, you know, the sides are playing on a surface that's difficult. It's very blustery. It's wet. I think over the piece, it's been a fairly entertaining first half.
It has been utterly compelling. It's lived up to the Friday night billing. Thank you very much, St Johnstone and Partick Thistle so far. And it would get even better from a drama point of view. We've all been waiting, I think, for Tony Watt to finally eclipse that goal he scored against Barcelona all those years ago. And Michael, for a moment, I thought he was going to do it with one of the greatest solo runs of all time. It was a brilliant solo run, but in the end, selflessly, he passes it into the path of Oisin Smith, and what a huge goal.
It does brilliantly, doesn't it? I just thought perhaps he'd taken it the wrong side past Jason Holt. Sets it up really well. Good composure in the end after what is a long bursting run. I mean, he's literally ran the length of the park here, quick to react, get onto that short header, and then obviously just here I wondered whether he was going to drive right through the middle, but tries to go around the side. Looked as if he perhaps had missed the opportunity, but good composure, good awareness. And then Oisin Smith makes no mistake there to slam it past the goalkeeper and get his side 1-0 up just before half-time. Perfect time for it, absolutely perfect timing.
Tony Watt, former St Johnstone player, of course, making such a huge difference here. And Michael, you wonder what it's going to be like in that Partick Thistle dressing room right now. Mark Wilson probably had an idea of what he was going to say to the players. What on earth do you think he's saying to them right now?
Well, I was just saying more of the same. I thought they were pretty aggressive. You could tell that they had a good understanding of what this game was all about, and the opportunity that was presenting itself to them. And I think he'll just be saying more of the same. You know, make sure that you're aggressive in every aspect of the game. And I mean, look, it's all well and good talking about it, but he needs his players to go out and execute it. And I think to a great extent they did that in the first half.
I love being on this muddy section of the pitch here, Michael, in these blustery conditions tonight. Just before we took over here, saw Josh Fowler just warming up here. Do you think he might get introduced at half-time by Simo Valakari?
Possibly. I mean, whether he's on at half-time or not, it's pretty certain he'll be making an appearance at some point in this game, because they need a goal, and he's banged in a fair few for Queen's Park already. So yeah, it may well be half-time. If it's not, he's certainly going to be getting a good chunk of this game, I would imagine.
It's going to be an interesting second half, to say the least, and we are thoroughly looking forward to it, and so much to look forward to over this weekend as well, as we raise the curtain on the SPFL weekend. Off the ball on the radio at midday, Sports Sound, open all mics on the radio as well. Radio Scotland before it all seamlessly moves on to the television 4:30 on BBC One. And then the Sportscene highlights tomorrow night a little later than usual, because Dundee United versus Hearts is the late kickoff at 8 o'clock. So join Tomo and Michael Stewart at 10:25 on BBC One Scotland. And join me on Sunday night, 7:15, for another big day in the Premiership. All the highlights on the BBC Scotland channel, repeated later on BBC One. And then next weekend, it's more Scottish Cup action once again. It feels like the 4th round was just the other week. Well, the 5th round's hoving into view, and we will be bringing you live coverage of Airdrieonians versus St Mirren Friday night, 7:30. Last season, we joined Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmore in Naples, with so many Scottish players enjoying adventures in Serie A. It was high time we caught up with Lewis Ferguson at Bologna.
When you first came out here almost 4 years ago now, how difficult a decision was that, and how kind of nerve-wracking was it to come to a new country?
Yeah, it wasn't as much a difficult decision. I think at the time, I felt as though it was time to move on from Aberdeen. Had fantastic 4 years there. Loved my time at Aberdeen. Again, great club, great people. But it was time for me to move on and kick on, and I wanted to go and play at a higher level. You do become more of a man. You know, I felt I was young when I moved here. Like I said, not really any responsibilities in terms of just living myself. But then obviously now I've got 2 beautiful young daughters, and you know, the oldest one goes to school here and everything, so they enjoy it. It's good here. It's a good city to live in with a family, a young family. So they're comfortable here, and that's the most important thing for me. Is as long as my 2 little girls are happy, then I'm happy.
How well loved is he here in this city and with everyone at the club here?
Yeah, most definitely a lot. He's very much beloved here. I mean, in general, I would say Scottish players are beloved in Italy because they don't ever create troubles. They are very tenacious. They fight on every ball all the time. So they don't create any problem at all. They are good for the group also as team players. And Ferguson is one of those. He's just a proper player who never gives up, and people do like that. And we've heard him yesterday speaking during the press conference. He speaks very good Italian, so people obviously like that.
Fisicamente io sto bene, mi alleno ogni giorno.
How are the other Scotland boys who are in Italy? You've got McTominay and Gilmore down in Naples, and Shays and Turin. Are they speaking the language as well? Are they tackling it? I think I've heard Scott certainly addressing his adoring public with it.
Yeah, I've seen Scott saying Mamma Mia a few times when the camera pans to him in the games. But it does take a lot to then go in front of a camera after a game or before a game, especially when it's live, because you don't want to mess it up.
He developed into what he is now. I mean, he was good at Aberdeen, but he did the next step, I'm sure, in Bologna.
I think probably since I've come back from injury, I've not scored as much as I did previously. We've obviously changed manager as well, so you change the style of football changes. And I probably changed the role. Played a little bit deeper, which I don't mind. It just obviously means that you don't get in the box as much, and there's not as much chances to score. But you know, recently I've sort of been playing a little bit higher up with that sort of license to hit the box. So hopefully the goals will come soon.
I want to ask you a couple of things about Accies. They're obviously going through a hard time at the moment.
You know, I spent 4 years at Hamilton. They gave me that opportunity, and they were always that sort of club who brought through their players through the academy. They gave them the opportunity and the platform to go and show their talent, and then they knew eventually that they would move on. And that was just the way Hamilton was running. A brilliant club, produced some great players, was full of great people. So it was difficult to then watch from afar and, you know, seeing what was going on. It was a bit of a disaster. I don't know the details or the ins and outs, but this is guys with families, and you know, they've got bills to pay, and it's real life. So I thought that was pretty sad, and you know, I still follow the club and hope that they do well, and I hope that they've got new ownership now. I hope this can be a point where they can change direction and start pushing in the right direction and take the club back to what it used to be like.
I cannot talk about Scotland and the World Cup that's coming up. How exciting is that prospect, particularly for you personally, given you missed out in Germany?
Yeah, really exciting. Really looking forward to it. We're not just there to make up numbers, we're there because we deserve it. And I'm pretty sure we'll be well prepared to go and get the best results possible, to have that at the end of the season to go and look forward to. And like I said, the squad and the country, I've got this to look forward to, and everybody should be so proud taking Scotland to a World Cup.
And you can see a longer version of Lewis Ferguson's adventure in Italy on BBC iPlayer. The head of academy at St Johnstone, Paul McDonald's, joined us. Paul, you spent a long time at Hamilton, Accies, the head of academy here at St Johnstone. Lewis Ferguson, what a fantastic example he must be to every young player coming through the ranks here and everywhere in Scotland.
Yeah, absolutely. A prime example of the importance of our academies in Scotland and the pathways that are created by these academies at these clubs, and Lewis has come through and done fantastically well in his career so far.
It's a big academy night here at St Johnstone this evening. Can you just explain exactly what's going on? It's a great atmosphere. Every stand at McDermott Park full of people this evening and lots of young faces.
Yeah, our owner Adam Webb's really keen to really connect the academy here and make it a focal point of our football club. And with the backing of our head of football operations, Gus McPherson, and chief exec Fran Smith, it's really becoming a real important part of the football club, and really trying to drive it forward and improve it going forward.
Exactly, and all the focus this evening obviously on the top team who are going so well at the top of the division, but a lot of young players ready to come through.
Yeah, we have a number of young players that we've got our eye on, hope that they will fulfil their potential. Our job is to try and make that pathway as smooth as possible for them.
Paul, thank you very much for joining us. Michael, we'll hear more from you at full time. It's all about to get started in the second half, and there has been a change for St Johnstone. Let's hand you back to our commentary team. James McFadden and Thomas Duncan.
Yeah, a loud roar for Josh Fowler as he comes on for his St Johnstone debut, replacing Sam Stanton. 19 goals in 25 games in all competitions for Queen's Park this season, 10 in the Championship, top scorer in the division outside of McDermott Park. A real statement signing from St Johnstone and a statement from Sumo Valakari to chuck him on. And he played during the week for Queen's Park, his final game, scored, of course. And I suppose when you're desperate for a goal, James, there's a few better in this division this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Big money signing for St Johnstone as well. I mean, Sumo Valakari would have been desperate, probably toyed with the idea of starting him. But Alfie Agyeman will just come off that right-hand side now, and he is more comfortable on the right-hand side. He can't play through the middle. He has done throughout his career. He certainly looks more comfortable on the right-hand side, and Josh Fowler will be hoping he can get that opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net, because that seems to be what he does best.
Yeah, no one ruling out a St Johnstone comeback. They've done it a couple of times this season, most notably at Somerset Park when they were 2 down against Ayr United and 1-4-2. Top scorers in the league. They've just added more goals to their ranks. A free kick here. Early chance to hit right back after Smith's opener in the first half, and it's curled in away by Partick Thistle, who've defended their box really well in this first half and a bit. Slip from Agyeman, battles back to his feet, breaks for Forrester, and then Fowler with his first touch in blue, and then he's hacked down, and it's Gullin. Strike blocked, corner. Welcome to the game from Josh Fowler.
Yeah, I mean, no nonsense tackle there. Pretty sure Gullin carries on, but pretty sure he's lethal from that area from free kicks. I'm pretty sure he'd rather have the shot from the free kick, but they carry on anyway, and he's done that quite a lot tonight. Sean Murdoch, let play develop. We need to have a better delivery here.
Here it comes, near post, and it goes over Fowler. And then there's a battle down the turn, it's in! It's deflected in! Josh Clark dived in despair.
a better delivery, and this time Thistle don't deal with it. Alfie Agiman on the turn, just firing it towards goal. It's a big deflection that takes it beyond Clark. It's the first time they managed to keep it alive, and it's O'Reilly just sticking a foot out, takes it beyond Clark. It's a good hit from Agiman on the turn, plenty of power on it. Dan O'Reilly just can't keep it out. Clark had it covered, I suspect.
Yeah, the goalkeeper went down to try and beat it away, but the cruel deflection. And now Saints with their tails up. And the difference in energy in the stadium and everything.
Well, that's what a goal does for you. They've come out and started their second half aggressive. And you're looking at their corners that they're putting in. When you look at the back line, Partick, Thistle, O'Reilly, Ashcroft, Macbeth, really commanding, imposing centre-backs, go and attack the ball. That's why you need to get your delivery spot on, and they did on that occasion, managed to keep it alive, get the reward.
Well, they've only failed to score in 5 games this season. Saints, difficult to keep them out. Dunfermline did manage it last week as Boys slides one forward and foul again on McPake. And the St Johnstone fans right up for this now.
Yeah, and the players. Certainly a brilliant response. Simo Valakari's got out his players for the second half. They've upped the tempo, the energy, the aggression. Causes so many problems, McPake. He can go outside, loves to get inside on that right foot. Varies his game, he lays it off one touch. He'll pass it, he'll cross it, he'll shoot.
Comes into the box. It was Ben McPherson who was booked there for Partick Thistle. McAleer for Holt. Thistle camped in their own half as it comes into the area. Forrester, good touch, and goes for goal. And for a split second, that looked like it was going to dip into the bottom corner, but it's wide in the end.
Yeah, especially from our angle here. He catches it well, goes for the whip, and it starts inside the goal. But this is the difference, you know, the ball comes into the box, St Johnstone up in the second ball, Forrester going for goal, it's always going to wait. Clark's at full stretch, this is the angle here, starts inside, looks like it might creep in, just bends away from goal.
Did briefly return to Hearts for the Scottish Cup tie, came on against Falkirk, so close to a goal there. Yeah, there's the confirmation. It was Ben McPherson who was booked for that challenge on Josh McPake. Now Thistle have a free kick. Samuel battling away.
Yeah, he does brilliant because he's surrounded. Great first touch, backing in, wriggling free, getting the free kick.
Wilson looking to see if his side can get back in front, away by McCulloch. Smith, scorer. It's a whipped ball in, headed away by Diabate. And then Boys, Fowler gets onto it. Simo Valakari, Michael mentioned his energy pre-match. I can only imagine he was certainly demonstrating that at half-time.
Yeah, but I think overall he's really positive. You know, it's support for his players. It's just a demand he puts on them, and certainly he has got a reaction out of them for this second half. Not that they were poor in the first half, but there's far more energy and intent about them, a bit more purpose.
It's a little nutmeg there, I think, from Josh McPake. Bolt lays it off, cross headed away. Tony Watt is allowed to bounce. His control's good. Now he plays it behind for Samuel, who gets onto it. It's Alex Samuel, good goalkeeping, Stewart. Quick off his line.
Great link up between Watt and Samuel. Samuel with the pace and the strength to get beyond McAleer, and the angle's always against him, and he's not get his head up, and it's easy from up here, but if he can get his head up and square it to Stanway, he's got a tap in.
Advantage being played after O'Reilly's foul on Gullen. Aguiman takes a deflection behind for another Saints corner. Sean Murdoch is going to now dish out the yellow cards to O'Reilly.
Another one he lets develop and then deals with it afterwards. Good refereeing.
Letting the game flow. Gullen has dusted himself down and ready to take this corner kick. Floated in, Boy's header. Never got any convincing contact on that. Forrester, oh, he tried to get away from Stanway, didn't manage it, and then it's a cynical foul. And he knows what's coming here. See what he was trying to do.
Yeah, it's a cheap one to give away though. Again.
The rain remains relentless in Perth. St Johnstone come out for the second half with their tails up, got the equaliser, and it is finally poised once more, and that's a half-decent flick on, but the goalkeeper is there first. Bolts to Boys, curls it down the side of the box, and the challenge goes in, but the flag goes up early on this near side. Offside. Simon Valakari liked the intent from St Johnstone.
Yeah, it was a lovely pass, and I mean it did look close, but the assistant referee here in this near side, he's flag up straight away. It's still tight, but I'll tell you what, it's a perfectly timed challenge from Luke Macbeth.
Kulich was allowed to bounce and had no real option but to just play it safe thereafter. And some activity on the Thistle bench. Lowry perhaps coming on. Thistle throw. To the edge of the box. O'Reilly. Chased by Stanway, but in his haste to doing so, he's clipped Forrester. Free kick. St Johnstone causing their own problems here as McAleer gives up possession under pressure. Thistle onto it, Tony Watt turns, oh, and he tried to squeeze by Diabate. didn't manage it. St Johnstone breathed a sigh of relief. Gullen. McPeak. So difficult to dislodge. He's on the ball. Forrester into Fowler. Good strength from the number 9, McAleer. Now it's Jason Holt. He fancies this one. Too high.
Yeah, the space opened up brilliantly for him. Holt, great play, as you say, from Fowler to hold it up, link the play, and that's the space that he's vacated that opens up for Holt to drive into. He just cuts across the shot. See there, Ben Stanway. That's Robbie Crawford getting dragged outside. Stanway's the one that tries to put the block in.
Clark hooked that one. Change coming for Partick Thistle. It is one of the new signings, Cale Lowry from Hamilton Accies, who's on for Patrick Redding, who makes way. He's going down the tunnel, Redding, so must be nursing something. Or he's going for a warm shower.
Looks like he was struggling there as he came off.
Up to Gullen, nice flick. Doesn't have any support here, he's on his own. Squeezes the pass away. Holt, brilliant challenge. Boys, back to his captain. Boys to the box, and it doesn't come off from McPeak. Again, Tony Watt immediately on the run. Pass is overhit though.
Samuel and Watt are such a great outlet for Thistle. You know, St Johnstone have had, you know, the better of this second half, but anytime Thistle win it back, they've got the option going direct to Watt or Samuel or in behind for them to chase it down.
McPeak sends it in, booted away by Ashcroft. Again, Thistle breaking smartly. Smith, oh, what a pass that is. Superb. Tony Watt delays the cross, then sends it in. St Johnstone get it away. And now it's their turn to break. Gullen returns it to Aguiman. Partick Thistle recovering numbers there. McAleer across the Holt. He's got room. Oh, and he threads the pass to Gullen. Desperate challenge is a good one. Corner kick.
It's a lovely pass from Jason Holt into Jamie Gullen. But the block is a brilliant block as well. Great little position. Ashcroft getting across, getting a vital block in.
Yet another St Johnstone corner. Gullen takes. It's returned to him by the Thistle defence. Sends it back in, and they're jump from Boys, and this could go anywhere. Complete scrum. Still the ball is buried somewhere. And Josh Clark somehow got himself on it as the referee blows the whistle. Anyway, football at its finest.
What happened there? Well, it comes back out to Gullen, he puts it in the area again. You look at the amount of bodies that are in there, you just get block after block, and they're all just running in trying to get something on it.
Nobody knows where the ball is.
It almost looked like the ball didn't move. Just loads of bodies running about trying to get a touch on it.
Well, from Partick Thistle's point of view, they are mighty relieved that Josh Clark ended up pouncing on it. The referee's whistle went. Aguiman, whose goal levelled this game for the league leaders. Clears won that. Boys. Jason Holt. Peake. Set for Tynecastle next season. In the campaign of his life, that's a poor pass.
Yeah, it's great to see Josh McPake reinvent himself, really find a place to go and show everyone his talent. What expectation as a young player, lost his way, but he certainly found his feet with St Johnstone.
Boys. Here is McPake. Oh, it bobbles horribly for him. Still has it though. Aguiman. Dummies. Gets it back onto the right foot. Smart stop from Clark. Another corner.
That's good. Good work with the two wide men. By St Johnstone. McPake, when he drags inside, it's that little bobble, stops it for him, but he gets his head up. Aguiman with the quick feet. Near post shot, another one. Comfortable for Clark, but it's a good save.
It's taken short to McPake. And then it's Forrester, goes low this time. Return to McPake. Clips it to the back post. Oh, the overhead was coming from Aguiman. He wound it up. Never got the chance. Boys keeps it in. Another decent ball. Just floats over the players at the edge of the 6-yard box. Forrester, Gullen, Forrester, Aguiman. These are the situations he can be so dangerous in, and there's plenty of pace on the cross, too high. Boys, McAleer, McPake, quick feet but crowded out. Tony Watt on those back there.
He's had to go back and defend Tony Watt, but he's been the outball. He's looking for Samuel. He's well marshalled. St Johnstone back line.
Forrester goes from deep. Away. Ashcroft and St Johnstone just keep coming at the moment. Aguiman, one way then the other. Forrester, Aguiman, Holt. Oh, Fowler gets turned and then turns away. Get another nibble at it. Just overplayed there. Still alive for St Johnstone. Gullen. McPake. Danger man onto the right foot. Still going. McPake! Oh! That is absolutely sensational from the man of the season in the championship. And it is fitting that he scores another big goal in the title race. St Johnstone lead 2-1.
That's quite magnificent from Josh McPake. You can see that he's desperate to go on his right foot. The defenders know he wants to go on his right foot, and he's still able to do it. It is such good play from Josh McPake. He's just desperate to get it on that right foot, and look at the bodies in front to reverse that with the control and the power. It is absolutely magnificent from Josh McPake. You can see McPherson, he's showing him go down the line, go down the line. McPake's got other ideas. He wants inside on that right foot. Such a clean finish. It's a magnificent goal from him.
14th league goal in the championship for Josh McPake. As Kyle Turner comes on for Robbie Crawford. Mark Wilson goes to his bench. And you can see exactly why Hearts and Jamestown think McPake can step it up in the Premiership.
Well, if you look at his game tonight, probably not eye-catching, but it's the variety in his play. You know, he's driving down the left, he's getting crosses in, he's playing passes, he's laying it off to his full-back for first-time crosses. He's waiting for that moment to open up, but he makes that all on his own, cutting inside on his right foot. He knows exactly what he wants to do, but the composure to just get the reverse, the control and the finish is outstanding from Josh McPake. What a season he's having.
league leaders and title favourites, started to make a statement in the second half after falling behind. Fowler flicks on, and that's a foul on McPake. And the St Johnstone players, I think, making the point that could be something more. Beth's already been booked as well, which is, I think, what they're suggesting.
I think the referee's got that one right, first of all. But again, look, showing on the other side, that strength, hold it in, trying to end anything too clever. Beth's all over him.
Boys. Fowler. That's picked off by Macbeth. Immediately looks for Tony Watt. Tony Watt, superb turn. Party's with him and stays with him until he gets the ball back. Boys. Fowler. Holt. St Johnstone so patient. That one doesn't come off. Peake always lurking though as he puts the pressure on. Still battling away. Making sure there's no easy out for Luke McBeth, and then he's pumped up, enjoying it. Why not? Hat-trick against Thistle on the opening day, and got the consolation in the 2-1 defeat as well. Now he's come up with a crucial goal here potentially for St Johnstone. Stops play for a knock here to Ben Stanway. And Thistle are going to go to their bench anyway here. Logan Chalmers and Fraser Taylor, the St Mirren loanee, ready to make his debut. There he is on the right.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They need a bit of freshness. They put a lot into it. Spoke about the pitch, you know. St Johnstone have the momentum, they have the energy. Thistle are needing that bit of freshness.
Logan Chalmers is their top scorer, of course. O'Reilly is off. Tony Watt is coming across, but there is Logan Chalmers. 11 goals in all competitions. Macbeth as well.
Back four for Thistle now. Tony Watt probably operating this left-hand side. Chalmers will go out to the right. Fraser Taylor into the middle. Straight swat for Ben Stanway.
So Ben Stanway limping heavily. It looks like he's just taking a bit of a bump on the leg. Probably be able to shake it off, but another big shift from the young midfielder. And there is Fraser Taylor, who was League One Player of the Year last season as Arbroath won the title. He's had some game time with the Saints of Paisley this season. St Johnstone looking to put the foot on the throat of Partick Thistle. Motor 5 points clear, on course to do so, but they would love a third goal. Diabate's missed that. Forrester tries to cover for his centre-back, but Chalmers is in a bit of space here. Oh, and Mikulic has pulled his hamstring. And now it's Chalmers, and what an important header that is. Away. That was bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, Mikulic getting back and obviously pulling up. He's in distress here. Logan Chalmers does really well. Little step over, what's on his right foot, and he just bends it towards the far post. It's on target. Oh, he's not even sprinting. That's uncomfortable for the big man, but that is bending in at the back post. Stewart is scrambling across. But that is a positive impact that Mark Wilson's looking for from Logan Chalmers.
The mere sight of Logan Chalmers and Bozo Mikulic's muscles gone. I feel sorry for him because he's not long back from a long layoff, and if this is another couple of months on the sidelines, it's a real shame for him. Jack Baird is ready to come on and replace the Croatian.
Yeah, it's tough for him. As you say, he's had his problems with injury, and we'll look at the pitch for play and look for good play on it. It's difficult, but it's also difficult for the players. It's difficult on their body.
Well, he gets a nice ovation from the home fans. Feel real sympathy with him because it doesn't look too good.
At least he's walking off. Hopefully it's just tightened up on him and he's not out for too long.
More defending to do for St Johnstone. Stewart comes, gets gloves on it, and McPake clears over his head. And that's given to Fowler, and he'll find Aguiman, who's got seething pace if he can get away from McPherson, who's tracked really well, and then he's been done on the outside. And what a ball that is, as Fowler lunged in. Just needed the merest of touches, couldn't quite get there. Now Taylor is felled.
It's really clever from Fowler, because I'm looking at it thinking, put it in behind, let him run onto it. It's a short pass, but what it does is allow him to get into the box for the cross, and he almost gets on the end of it. Brilliant from Aguiman down the right-hand side. Great delivery in. Fowler just can't get on the end of it.
It's a big 15 minutes in a championship title race. Get all the goals from across the Championship, Leagues 1 and 2, the Scottish Football Roundup from Monday on the BBC Sport website and app. And it's the turn of the Scottish Cup, 5th round. Airdrieonians hosting St Mirren. It's a week today, 7:30. BBC Scotland's big weekend in the Big Cup.
Yeah, I thought Logan Chalmers would come on and go on the right side. He's come over on the left side for deliveries into the box with that left foot. Tony Watt operating off the right means he can get in at the back post and support of Samuel.
And he is impeded, Tony Watt. Another yellow card is out, and Jack Baird only on a couple of minutes. Such a clever player, Tony Watt, knows what's coming.
Especially when he's motivated to go and work for the team, which he's done brilliantly tonight. And he has done all season for Thistle.
Taylor goes short, gets it back, curled in, and the header is just flashed wide. Right, Samuel, a grimace from him. He scored a really tidy header last week against there, not a million miles away. And more changes being made. Kai Fotheringham coming on, and I think Josh McPake is down in a heap on the turf. which is not good news for St Johnstone. It's potentially worrying. Sits up St Johnstone's top scorer. Stretching up, maybe a bit of cramp.
They'll be hoping it's cramp. Such an important player. Certainly looks like it is. But again, we talk about the heavy pitch. It's certainly having an impact on the players here tonight.
Yeah, and will his moment of magic be the decisive one? Such a wonderful goal, James.
That's brilliant. You look at McPherson showing him the line, but McPake, he shifts it so quickly. He's so intent to get it on his right foot. He's so good at it. It's very difficult to stop, but you know, the best thing about it is the finish. Such a controlled finish, great composure. And that's what he's done so often this season, popped up at the big moments.
And his work is done. Kai Fotheringham is on. A player who is, because of Josh McPake, has not had as much game time as he'd have liked, certainly from the start. He made his summer switch from Dundee United. Of course, he was prolific in this division when United got promoted a couple of seasons ago. Very much playing second fiddle this season.
Yeah, but it shows you the strength that St Johnstone have, that you're bringing a player like Kai Fotheringham on. You know, Josh McPake going off is a blow for them. But Kai Fotheringham's another very good player, very good option to be bringing on.
He scored 12 times when Dundee United went up as champions in the league.
It's a different problem now for Ben McPherson because he is technically very good, but he just seems to know where to go. He's always in the right area when the ball comes into the box.
Sorry, James, wonderful football. St Johnstone to work that opportunity as Forrester put it in, but it's well won by Thistle, and Taylor is gliding forwards. Chalmers looking for Tony Watt, who's given everything as McAleer stepped across him there, and I feel like that could have been payback for the one in the first half.
Yeah.
McAleer didn't really need to give away there as Fowler gets yellow carded. And it comes from Taylor, drops into the box, and Turner, O'Reilly, Holt gets across really well. Final 10, and there's a coming together there, and it's into the box. Diabate wins it, and Holt sweeps up. And it comes, missed by the first man, and a turn, and Samuel goes down, still alive. Good play from Fotheringham, because that was headed for Chalmers, and now he's on his bike to get round Aguiman, who curls one wide, and Gullen on the stretch couldn't take it in. It was a tricky one.
It was, and he had Fotheringham outside him. He made a good run. He just played it into his path, maintained the attack. You can see obviously that he's trying to get the switch of play for Gullen, who was also in space, but that's a difficult one.
Good play from Seeds, and now Fowler. O'Reilly with Cam defending. The pitch really has deteriorated over in that corner there. And was that out? It was. So, tad slack from Partick Thistle. They want to be up the other end of the pitch. Still time for them though.
Yeah, I think both sets of players deserve enormous credit for dealing with the conditions of the pitch. Really heavy, bobbly. They've tried to play.
Picked up by Boys. Now into Fotheringham. Important tackle. Thistle. Free kick. Fowler is asking why. important moments these in the title race. St Johnstone on the verge of going 5 clear with a game in hand. Far from decisive in January, but would be significant nonetheless. Clark with the goal kick. Fotheringham will pick this up and just sends it into the channel for Fowler to race after, and he does. Thistle throw. Clark. Beards. That's it. More or less away, but Chalmers will return the ball. Curls one in early. Glanced to Fotheringham. And there's a tension around McDermott Park. Fans know the importance of these next 6.5 minutes plus stoppage time as St Johnstone. The decision there, boys. St Johnstone's finest there. Diabate. Oh, and that was a risky one, and it was scooped out by Jack Bairds. St Johnstone put themselves under a wee bit of pressure there unnecessarily. 2 balls on the pitch now. Watts glanced that forward. Good turn from Fotheringham, but McPherson has won it off him, and then Saints forwards recovers well. Thistle, will they get another big chance as Fowler looks to break? He was impeded, and now Ashcroft is going to go into Sean Murdoch's notebook.
That's just fear from Ashcroft, because he knows that Fowler, when it gets turned, if he gets it past him, potentially a chance to extend that lead and really put the game to bed. It's one of those situations where if you don't win the ball, you make sure you make a foul. Fraser Taylor is there matching him, and Dan O'Reilly's covering, but he's not to know that, Ashcroft.
Such a live wire in a struggling Queen's Park side. Fowler. Replacement for Adama Sidibe, who joined Stockport County. Tony Watt, so good at holding the ball up. He's in this kind of mood, but Saints have pinched it. Aguiman, Gullen just gets it away, intercepted, and one back again by Gullen, who now has a bit of space to work with. It's bobbling horribly for him though. Gets the shot away. Clark makes the stop and regathers. Extremely tricky conditions, both sets of players, but despite that, there's been some really good football played by both teams in this game. There's still plenty to play for in the closing minutes, just one in it.
Yeah, well, Thistle need to chase it. St Johnstone don't. And the more bodies they put forward, should leave gaps for St Johnstone to exploit.
Fowler away from Taylor. Jason Hole slides it into the box, breaks for Fotheringham. And it's a touch on that, and has won a corner kick. O'Reilly's furious. The referee's mind is made up.
From here, I mean, the referee's got a better position than we do, but from here it looked like Fotheringham managed to get his leg round and hit that off O'Reilly for the corner. It looked like the correct decision.
Fotheringham will take this himself. Third would clinch it for St Johnstone, and it comes away by Ashcroft. Gullen turns it first time to Fotheringham. Up and away, and Fowler lurking, but doesn't fall for him. Gullen just never stops. Now Aguiman. Danger here for Thistle. Aguiman! And Josh Clark with a fine save.
Yeah, I mean, he's desperate to get on that right foot, Alfie Aguiman, but he's twisting and turning. A little feints as if he's going to come inside. Such quick feet. And the power on the strike. Clark just gets across and makes himself big. It's a good save.
Jamie Gullen is coming off. And Victor Griffith, the Panamanian, is coming on. Another one who's worked his way back into the squad recently. More defensive-minded midfielder on for Jamie Gullen, who's run himself into the ground, James.
Yeah, he has. Probably doesn't get the headlines because his teammate Josh McPake's stealing them all every week, but such a good player in that support role. Just saying it, work rate, but quality as well from Jamie Gullen.
Fotheringham got right underneath that one, and it's going behind. Poor one. Minute 90. And there is one goal between the top two sides in the championship. St Johnstone going 5 clear with the game in hand as it stands. But Thistle, will they get one opportunity to at least force a draw? Clark away by Baird. McPherson, and then Griffith finds Fotheringham. Holt. Griffith. Boys. Oh, he's gone between two of them. It was a risky one, and then he's given it away. Needless. And now Samuel on the rampage finds Taylor. Good recovery from Jason Hall, and then he's won the free kick to boot. Outstanding from the captain.
Yeah, it's vital as well to get back, cut that pass out. Another one, did a really good performance tonight. Very difficult conditions.
5 added minutes for All Saints. Attacking prowess this season, they also have the best defensive record. Breached once tonight. Need to see out 4.5 minutes here. Saints get the throw in. Throw in from Boys. And free kick is given to Thistle. 4 minutes left. Mark Wilson's men try and force an equaliser here at McDermott Park. Clark, no one. Fowler gets a touch on it, and finds it. And he's put a brilliant ball in behind for Fotheringham to chase the goalkeeper out so quickly. Turner turns. Finds Taylor. There's a bit of space here. If they can get it to Chalmers, well read by Forrester. Pass held up on the muddy pitch. Taylor.
He's looked good since he came on, Fraser Taylor. Moves the ball quick, doesn't really get caught on it. It's going to be a good signing for Thistle.
Won by Diabate. Given away, and no messing about from Adam Forrester. Taylor Fotheringham. Smith. Ashcroft with a switch. Chalmers is lurking. He's going to get onto this. Thistle's go-to man. Beats the first. And across to Smith. And it was a heart and mouth moment for the St Johnstone fans, but Toby Stewart hangs on.
Yeah, it's an awkward one that just bounces in front of him. He does well. Keep his eye on it, keep his concentration quite easily. I think that's going to be an easy stop. Make a mistake, but he doesn't. Fully switched on.
Hesitation there from Baird initially, but he's recovered his position. McAleer helps it on. Lowry makes the run beyond. McAleer got across to block it. Final 90 seconds. St Johnstone also close to a massive victory. Now Tramp takes over Rhys McAleer, and I suppose, James, this would be as good a time as any to get your man of the match.
Yeah, well it's going to be the guy that's made the difference for St Johnstone tonight. I mean, there is still time for Thistle to snatch that equaliser, but I just feel that Josh McPake has been really calm and measured when he's had the ball, and almost built towards that opening to make the difference, cutting inside in the right foot, getting, you know, a magnificent goal, which looks like it's going to be the winner for his side. Plenty of candidates tonight, but I'm going to go for Josh McPake. No surprise, I'm going to favour a winger, but I think that his play tonight is, you know, built up to that moment where he can really make the difference, and so far he has done.
Such a pivotal player for Saints this season. Still time for Thistle. Lowry charged down, and this may be the final chance. Very low in, away. Griffith and Forrester. Drops, Fotheringham can't control, and it's laid in behind, and Samuel's brought down. Penalty! Huge moment in the season. Alex Samuel with the last play hits the muddy turf under duress from the Saints backline, and Sean Murdoch points to the spot. And what a huge opportunity this is now for Partick Thistle to snatch a point.
This comes out from Diabate. Alex Samuel, full running tonight. I mean, they can have no complaints. It's 2 arms in the back. Starts outside, continues in. Oisin Smith with a chance here. Get a vital point for his side.
Well, he's got one tonight. And this will probably be the final kick. The tension palpable at McDermott Park. Huge moment in the season. Oisin Smith scores! Nerves of steel from the Partick Thistle midfielder, and he has snatched a vital draw for the Jags at McDermott Park, just as it looked like they were going to drop 5 points off the pace. What a game, and this title race is going to keep running.
Yeah, what a cool penalty it is, and that's why you don't pick the man of the match before the game's finished, Thomas. But there's huge pressure on him. Composure, side foot, doesn't feel the pressure. 2 goals for him tonight, and a vital point. May well still be time to go and grab a winner. Well, maybe not.
It was virtually the last kick, and a sickener it was for Simo Valakari and St Johnstone, who thought they'd done enough, but 2 goals from that man, Oisin Smith, including that brilliant penalty, has grabbed a draw for Partick Thistle to keep them in touch with the Saints. The league leaders thought they'd come from behind for a big win after Aguiman, and then a stunner from Josh McPake. But Thistle, as has been the case all season, when you think they might be drifting out of it, they just keep coming back, and they've given the travelling fans in Perth a moment to celebrate and remember this season, which could yet be a special one for them. St Johnstone, though, will settle for the fact they remain at the league summit. And James, I have to say, we wondered about the pitch and how it might affect things. It obviously did, but it was still a brilliant quality game, and both sides played a huge part.
Yeah, they did. Extremely competitive, St Johnstone. Thistle certainly a better team in the first half, St Johnstone the second half, but they just keep going. Partick Thistle, you look at the performances of Samuel and Watt up front, non-stop running, chasing balls down, being a nuisance, and they get the reward in the end. Alex Samuel getting the penalty kick, Nosheen Smith with 2 goals, but a fantastic game, fantastic spectacle, delivered everything we expected, and special mention to every single player because of this condition of the pitch, conditions tonight. Well done every single one of them, because they've put on a show tonight, and this title race is going right to the wire.
That's why we love this division. Keeps delivering full time, and the tussle at the top. St Johnstone 2, Partick Thistle 2.
The championship pot keeps bubbling over, doesn't it? Just when you think St Johnstone are going to put some daylight between themselves and Partick Thistle, it changes in the blink of an eye, right at the death. And Mark Wilson's side live to fight another day in terms of their title credentials, and it must be a real sickener for those St Johnstone players going up the tunnel right now. Michael Stewart alongside me, and Michael, when it comes to drama, and we've said it for so many years, this division continually delivers, and once again tonight.
Absolutely. I think Faddy hit the nail on the head there, just in terms of commending all the players in the park, because it's not easy playing in these conditions on that park. But I thought both sides did very well. It was not, I said before the game it would turn into a war of attrition. It wasn't that at all. Very competitive from both sides, absolutely, right to the death as we saw. But there was a lot of good football. It was very entertaining, and I think you've just you've said it there. This championship, it just always delivers, and it looks as if this is going to be a long haul, this fight between these two teams particularly.
From a selfish point of view, it was probably quite good in terms of the narrative of this season. Partick Thistle got that goal. I know no St Johnstone fan will be agreeing with me right now.
Not at all. I thought, credit to St Johnstone, because Simo Valicari got a reaction. Not that they were poor in the first half, because I thought they were still quite good, but I thought Partick Thistle edged it in the first half. But in the second half, I think St Johnstone really came out the traps quickly. They were aggressive, and the tempo of their play was definitely lifted. And prior to that penalty kick going in, you felt as if St Johnstone probably deserved to pick up the 3 points in the end. But we'll take the draw.
I think maybe 5 minutes before the end, Michael, I said something along the lines to you that I'm not
Stay
sure.
inside, keep warm, is what you said?
No, not at all. We were inside, actually, full disclosure, watching it from the press area. But I wasn't sure Partick Thistle did have a goal in them to find the equaliser, but they did. It would come from the penalty spot. Cheikh Diabate, the offender in this situation. Was it enough for you to constitute a penalty?
Well, it looked clumsy. Alex Samuel, I think, does very well, first and foremost. As that ball gets over, you can see he pins Diabate. He gets goal side of him. The defender's just that little bit slower to react. And Samuel's is cute. He understands that there's going to be, contact there. Probably, yeah, it is. It's good striker play. He recognises if he gets contact between himself and the defender's momentum is inevitably going to come into the back of him. And Nosheen Smith makes no mistake. Calm as you like, real good composure to slot it away into the corner. 2 goals for the midfielder as well. He obviously went back to St Mirren. He featured in the earlier in the month. I'm surprised he doesn't play more. I really like him. I think he's a good player, and clearly Mark Wilson will be delighted to have him back at Partick Thistle.
And how often does it happen when you are the co-commentator and you pick the man of the match and then suddenly somebody pops up with 2 goals?
Well, yes, quite often. Yeah, I can attest to that. But obviously Josh McPate was a quality. Well, he is a quality player, and he was very, very prominent tonight as well. But I'm sure with a last kick of the ball, penalty kick to get the equaliser, that perhaps In hindsight, Faddy might have given it to Ocean Smith.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Huge credit to St Johnstone in this match, especially for the way they came out at the start of the second half. And Michael, it was all guns blazing, and Alfie Agyeman credited with the goal. Big deflection from Dan O'Reilly, of course.
Yeah, but again, just as we were mentioning there, you could tell, I mean, obviously it's right from the get-go to get themselves back level is a huge bonus for them. But I thought that second half performance in particular was bright. It was aggressive from them, and I'm sure the man that's standing next to us was a little bit concerned as the final whistle was approaching, because I thought that the home side were good in the second half. They were. As much as I thought Partick Thistle had edged it in the first half, I think St Johnstone were pretty good in the second half as well.
Mark Wilson, I feel we should extend congratulations. Even though it is a draw, it must feel like a huge point for your side, given what happened at the end there.
Certainly, I think when the game swings the way it did in the second half so early into it, and it's getting into the final settings, I thought the boys showed great bravery and courage to get up the pitch as much as we could. And see, to be honest, I think Mikey's right there. I thought we did edge the first half. I thought St Johnstone were strong the second half, but I thought there was moments in the second half as well we could have made better as some of the opportunities we had. So I think it was the least we deserved to get a point out of the game.
How good does it feel right now that you kind of keep the whole title race alive? You know, just a few minutes there from the end, St Johnstone were stretching their lead to 5 points, which looks pretty ominous from a Partick Thistle point of view.
If you not said that before. he's never stopped saying this, man. He kept telling me this all season.
I did at one point say that St Johnstone were running away with the league.
Do you pin his comments up in the changing
and stuff? Well, of course, it makes it more difficult, but we're just getting into February. Of course, it would have been disappointing. And the aim was to come here and try and win the game and go top of the table. It was a great incentive for the players, that. Because we have been on the road, put on the road sometimes and not got the results we maybe wish we could have. So tonight it was going to be the acid test, and I thought we approached it well in the first half, and I wish we could have just weathered the storm a wee bit better in the second half, but you've got to expect that here with the quality players they've got.
Former Partick Thistle manager Ian McCall noised me up about those comments a couple of months ago at a St Mirren match.
You're not learning though, are you?
Well, I am now, because it's very much on, isn't it, the title race. Let's have a look at your celebrations, Mark Wilson, right at the end, because I think they sort of sum things up. I actually haven't seen this yet, and you haven't either.
No. I'm usually pretty calm with things, but like when the clock's ticking in, and you know, we keep the two strikers on, we put Logan on, we put young Fraser on for his debut. You obviously have to change the shape, take a centre half off, and you're looking just to create a bit of chaos in the box. We didn't create too much in terms of piecing things together, obviously on the surface. But I thought if you put the ball in the box, we had a few throw-ins there. I thought we were going to get another opportunity, and you know, it was just a hook ball on. Alex does well. Alex Samuel, so strong. He was great tonight, and you know, we got a penalty. But it's never easy with a penalty. We've missed about, 2 or 3 in the bounce. So you're scrambling a bit for penalty takers, and it takes a lot of courage for Ocean to step up and put that away.
How happy were you to get Ocean back?
Oh, I mean, delighted. Like when I was trying to put the team together in the summer, a central midfielder, his calibre, who could take the pace and tempo of the game was something I was after. And when we got him for the first half of the season, he was obviously a standout for us, and it was disappointing to lose him for a couple of games. But hard work behind the scenes for our sporting director and everybody connected to get him back, and he certainly played a huge part tonight.
Let's look at your opening goal from this match, Mark. What was going through your mind as Tony Watt galloped up the pitch in what looked like might be the goal of the season?
Well, it was incredible. I mean, we work in this stuff a lot in training, transitional moments, and Tony's such a strong carrier of the ball. And, you know, I've been in that position many a time where you're 1v1, you're in your box, and there's always jeopardy. And he does terrific to compose himself. But the run through Ocean to catch up with him, and we're shouting to Ocean to get up, he's still got 70 yards to make up and then compose himself for the finish. So, absolute terrific goal. And, you know, I thought we were worthy of it in the first half. Maybe could have got another. But a great way to go on at half-time.
Mark, Partick Thistle very much in the title race. Thank you very much. Congratulations tonight.
Cheers.
Josh McPake has joined Thomas Duncan.
Josh, I guess, I don't know really where to start. What a game. You maybe thought you'd won it with your absolutely brilliant goal, and it maybe feels like a bit of a defeat in the end almost.
Aye, it stings, it does, but this game doesn't define our season. Thought we'd done really well to get ourselves back into it, and obviously I get the goal and yank it's done, but that's football at the end of the day, and that's this league. So But at the end of the day, this isn't the final season, this game.
Talk us through your goal then. You're just looking to get it on that right foot. They tried to stop you, but didn't manage it.
A wee bit. I think the pitch was caught up a wee bit, so I was trying all half to try and get in it, but it kept balling up, and I managed to take a couple of good touches, and when I'm in there, I backed myself to finish it. So, yeah, it was a good goal. I'll give myself that.
Just talk us through your mentality this season. You've obviously scored so many goals. You seem like you've just got so much confidence, back yourself at every opportunity. Is that how it feels?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I want to do the best for myself, obviously, and for the club. The club's put a lot of trust in me. So the next 3-4 months of the season, I want to give it my all and see how high I can go.
In terms of that second half, what did the manager say at half-time? Because you did well to come back and get your noses in front.
Yeah, no, I definitely gave us a bit up the backside, to be honest. Just kind of get back to playing the way we play, and I felt like we came out really, really well in the second half. We showed that, and we got our goals, but at the end of the day, it was a penalty. So,
just tell us what it's like. It looked really a difficult pitch to play on tonight for players. You still made such a good game, but both teams played pretty nice stuff despite it. But just run us through what it was like.
Yeah, no, definitely, especially for players like me, wingers that want to take boys on and shift and hit, shift and cross. It's really, really tough, but I'm thankful a couple of good touches got me in. So, yeah.
Thanks, Josh. You're the player of the match. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Once again, Josh McPake, what a player he has been for St Johnstone this season. And Michael, when he decides just to take charge of the situation, what an impact. You can see why Hearts have decided to get him on a pre-contract.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a standout all season for St Johnstone, and it's a huge goal. It's a big moment. Just as he's stepping back inside there, you can just see there's a split second where Partick Thistle midfielder coming across. I think it's Robbie Crawford, just clearly feeling the pace at that point, just overcommits ever so slightly, and that's just all is needed for McPake, just to get that little bit of a gap to open up and get the strike away. And you've heard him there. He's obviously somebody that backs himself at the moment, full of confidence and full of quality. It's
a great story, isn't it? Because the whole narrative around Josh McPake was that he was a player that was drifting, and when he finds his place, it's kind of inspirational, the story he's shown.
Yeah, absolutely. And this man is about to join us has obviously played a big part in that.
With us.
In terms of just being able to get a grip of Josh McPake, somebody that's got a lot of ability. But you're right, it did seem as if his career was drifting slightly. But this season in particular, he's really started to hit the heights.
Simo, what a match. I think the last time we were at McDermott Park, we thoroughly enjoyed the entertainment. And once again, that's the case for us. Maybe not quite the case for you, especially with the way it ended. But your overall thoughts?
Yeah, football. I think I enjoyed the game as well because two good teams went each other, and our point of view, very silly goal to lose. The first goal. There was not the players in the right position for their transition, which we knew they are very dangerous in their transitions. And credit to them, how Tony, ran all the field and composer in the box and pass it there. But how we came to the second half, we were very strong. We pushed them down and deserved to get this 2 goal down. And then always, I would say I would have hoped a little bit. Maybe the last moments, a little bit more composure, maybe kicking the ball. Now it was just, let's kick the ball and let's defend. And we could not defend, until the end. It was penalty. It was, for me, it was penalty. It's a referee can give it, So yes, disappointed how it ended, but overall, again, very proud of our players.
Simo, I just wanted to ask, we heard Josh McPake getting interviewed there, and he said that you gave them a bit of a boot up the backside at half-time. The first half wasn't poor, but I felt like Partick Thistle just edged it slightly. What were you saying to the team? Yeah, because you got a reaction in the second half there.
Yeah, we did, and let's say because a big part of football is the condition as well. We did not adapt the conditions that well, and actually we tried to play too much with the conditions. We could not take care of the ball. We can't play here. We need to just kick it. Mm-hmm. We said we can play here. We can play here, we can play here. As we showed, the second half, that 25 minutes spell when we got those 2. We can play in here, and we played. We pushed the opponent very deep, and then we started to get, control of the game. But when we can't find the control, then there comes the game of opponent that they are so good this transition. They have 2 good strikers there. They cause any team problems. And but yeah, boys again, good reaction for the second half, and pity that we could not hold it.
Do you have to pick the players up at the end of a match like that? Simo, it is a point at the end of the day, but with the way these sorts of games end in those circumstances, the players must be feeling quite down at this moment.
Yeah, but again, emotions running now high. You feel this disappointment, you feel this, but I don't need to pick them up. They know how good players they are. They know how good team they are. They know even these moments, losing last week, being 1-0 down half time, how they performed in the second half. We are a good team. We have a good players. So the players know it, but at the same time we know we need to keep working. We need to keep working. We need to find this couple of little small margins to working our way, and we will be good.
Simo, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Let's have a look at the championship table as it stands after the action here at McDermott Park this evening. And there we have it. The title race it is still on. Partick Thistle just 2 points behind St Johnstone, as it was at the start of the match. The twists and turns of this evening have left things pretty much the way they are, and it does look like a two-horse race. Are both in third place, but probably just a little bit too far away to impact the top two. And I can't help thinking about March when Partick Thistle hosts St Johnstone. Michael, that's going to be seismic as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one win each and a draw in the games that they've played each other now. Partick Thistle's home record obviously a lot stronger than their away record at the moment, and I'm sure they'll have one eye on that tie. As if they can keep themselves within touching distance of St Johnstone, then they'll view that as a wonderful opportunity to perhaps really put the cat amongst the pigeons at that point, and perhaps maybe they have an opportunity of getting themselves top of the table after that game.
You think I'm barred from every pub in Maryhill?
Absolutely.
Sounds like
yes.
it.
Yeah. Maybe Greater Glasgow.
Michael, thank you very much indeed from all of us on the Sportscene team for now. Good night.